swear, I wish I gotta get me what's gonna call it? See, my office space is not ideal right now. Let me get some of the lighting together. Okay, I think they helped a little bit. Hold on. Before I start here. Been over a year. It's crazy. I'll tell you, a lot of people. All right, I'm gonna get started. Just a minute. No, I ain't gonna play all that. Excuse me. I thought I already verified that. That's weird. Okay. My car. Please, folks, start playing with me. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. What's up, y'all? So it's Jay here, mindset, marketing coach, psychologist, you author, you name it, I did it probably. Okay. And I want to talk about this from, I know I have a tendency sometimes to over explain. And a lot of people will be like, oh, you over explain. Because some people will say over explaining is a defense mechanism. And I'm not saying that it's not. But I over explain because I know how people think. I want to lead with rebuttals to everything you think. It's a salesperson in me too. I've been in sales. My first degree is in marketing. So yeah. But I lead in rebuttals just so I can go ahead and attack the thing that's gonna come to y'all mind. First, like I said, I want to announce who I am, my credentials. You know, people still will try to undermine that. If you can't, I'm sorry, y'all. Someone will look, but you can't undermine something to which you can't accomplish. So if you ain't got no master's degree in psychology, you can't say anything about what I'm saying. If you got a master's degree in psychology, then we can have a good discussion. Because I know at least you got the background. You got the experience. You're an expert. We can talk. But when y'all don't have these credentials and y'all say things, I take it with a grain of salt because you don't have the experience, you don't have the education, and that's not to mock you and not and make it seem like you're not a smart person because I don't know you likely, but it's for you to understand that there's some people out here that actually do more work, have more experience. They're smarter than you. Sorry to be mean and say it like that, but they are, right? If somebody come to me and they got a doctorate in something, I am not going to argue against them. Even if what they say might not sound right to me, I'm just not going to argue against them because you got a doctorate. That means you know more about some things than I do, especially if it's an area that I don't study. Okay, so I just want people to keep this in mind that the things that I'm going to say always push the status quo. I make people think, hold people accountable. I make people feel uncomfortable. That's what God sent me to do. I can't move any differently. When I try to move differently, I don't feel right. I feel fake. I feel fake trying to pretend like the world is a good place all the time. That's fake to me. I feel fake trying to pretend like everybody's good all the time. We know that's not true. So I'm here to make people aware of the areas in which they can strengthen. And because I am a Black woman, I am going to extend my help primarily to Black people, not just because I'm Black, but because of the things that our people have gone through, and my people going through. Now, if we was in a different position where we were not victims to so much society put on us, I would open myself up to helping everybody. But because we are in such dire straits, I extend my help to everybody, but primarily to Black people. So I want to talk about all things Black today. I'm probably going to be on here. I might be on here longer than I normally be. I might be on here about an hour or so. I got time today. Time today. I don't have to work for another few days. For real, for real. So we finna get into these things. So, like I said, I lead with disclaimers and rebuttals. If you come in here and you disagree with what I'm saying, that's fine. I welcome people to disagree, but I want people to disagree logically. Don't disagree with me emotionally. Feelings are not facts. Feelings are not facts. Right? And I was telling my family the other day, I said, I don't have, when it comes to opinions about things, I don't have ill-informed opinions because I'm a person who, the neurodivergent in me, I deep dive on stuff. I've studied so many things. What Jesus said, I probably forgot more than y'all learn. Real fucking talk. Because I deep dive. I study things. I've read so many books in my life. I might have read probably 1,000 books already in my life. I am a nerd. I'm a geek. I'm all those things. I get into it. I hyperfixate on some things, especially when I'm interested in it. And psychology and sociology are those two things that I always have been into, even before I knew what they were. Even as a child, I was always interested in how people think, why people do what they do. I've always been that, right? So I might be putting on my lip. Ugh. This is what live do for you. But let's get into it, right? So I want to start by saying I love Black people. I wish I still had my old Facebook from when I was 17. I've always loved Black people. I'm kind of obsessed with this thing of being Black and being around other Black people. But I know I love us enough to know where we be fucking up. And I know that all of it is not our fault. I know that we are responding to the circumstances of generations of trauma and oppression and violence. We had a violent history and we were the victims most of the time. So I am going to say everything from a space of love because I don't know how else to say it. I do talk rough. That's just how I am. I'm a straightforward, blunt person. That's also another thing that's probably with my neurodivergent is that I say things without coddling. It's always kind of robotic and analytical to some people. But Black people This is the things that I think we should work on. And I'm going to start also with talking about the pathology that got us here. And hopefully some ways that we wish we can fix them. And sorry, y'all, I mess with my hair because that's a stimulant. That's how it's a stimulant for me. I try to stop, but I can't help it. Okay, so let's talk about Black love, right? I'm gonna talk about Black love, and let's talk about, when I say Black love, I'm going to, by default, it will be heterosexual relationships, but this is not to exclude any of the LGBTQ plus people. You can find what resonates with you and leave the rest, but because the world is pretty much heterosexual, heteronormative, I'm going to speak from a heterosexual standpoint. So Black love, what my problem with Black love is, the common theme is struggle. The common theme for us about Black love is struggle. And it's not always just struggle. It's, hey, let's struggle and then come out on top. That's the goal for Black couples and Black love. When y'all talk about Black love, that is typically the formula by which y'all are rating it on. The problem with that and where it came from is slavery, right? Slavery set the standard for what we expected in our relationships. Because it was so traumatic, a lot of us are still stuck there in that slave mentality, even though we ourselves are not slave. Pathology is something that is passed down generationally. So even without trying, some of us still have that slave mentality, that the residual mindset, that residual behavior. And I'm going to break it down to y'all because for some reason, especially Black men, they don't, I think it's because they don't have sequential and consequential thinking a lot. Women don't either. I'm not saying it's just Black men, but I only hear Black men say this. I'm not saying Black women don't. I personally only hear or see Black men say that their problem with the Black community, Black family structure, Black love structure being destroyed, they blame welfare. I, being the psychologist and sociologist that I am, I'm thinking about the mental turmoil that led us to the separation that happened during the welfare era. Because it goes back further than just welfare. These people didn't just give Black people welfare or Black women welfare and then the family structure was messed up. No, there was a mindset that already was there that led to our families being destroyed, the family structure being destroyed on the way to destruction, because it's not completely destroyed, but on its way to destruction, if you want to say. So let's think, right? Let's think about what happened during slavery and how those things changed the dynamic between Black men and Black women. We all have this natural conditioning. And it might not be wrong, because even in the animal kingdom, and I got a video that I made maybe last year, maybe a year before that, I can't remember. But I was talking about how relationships should mirror the laws of nature. In nature, the masculine has always been presented as someone to provide, so to speak, because honestly, in nature, sometimes the masculine is only supposed to just be good for having reproduction, having the kids, right? This is nature, not human nature, but regular nature. But overall, in nature, the masculine has always been the one to provide, to try to attract the female or prove himself to the woman. When a man is enslaved, and the woman is also enslaved. The roles are gone. There is no provider, protector. How? How can a black man who is enslaved protect his wife and his family, his kids, from his white slave master? He cannot. The only way he can is by putting his life on the line, but that's not guaranteed that those people will be protected. So you see what that did to black men's minds, how unworthy that made them feel in their sense of masculinity. They could not provide. They could not protect. They had to sit there and watch their wives be raped and have children by the enemy. And they couldn't do nothing. I get upset when I think about it. And this is why, for me, I understand black men, but I don't agree with how y'all move. I don't like how y'all respond to that piece of trauma that has been placed upon us. I don't like it at all. I definitely don't like how y'all treat us. But that's another topic. I'm going to talk about that a little later. So you have that. This is just the black man. What happened to the black man? So what happens to the black woman, right? Black woman, again, she doesn't have a provider or a protector. And by default, the provider protector would be the slave master, but he's also the person she needs to be protected from, right? So you imagine you are a woman and you are seeking protection, because that's a natural thing for us to seek, and we have no protector. But we love this man, we love our black men, and we understand. Ooh, I'm kind of getting emotional. We understand that he can't protect us, but we love them anyway, much like today. But we have to deal with our own trauma, because now we're under attack. Because guess what? The slave master, he finds us sexually attractive. So he takes us from that black man and he has his way with us. This happens more often than we probably think too. Back then, he can take our children from us at any time. He can take our husband from us at any time. We have no protection. All we have is hope. And meanwhile, while the black man is unable to protect, you have the white man putting in his mind that it's our fault that we're being raped. This is where rape culture came from. It's our fault we're being raped. Because first of all, we shouldn't look so good. Secondly, he owns us. He can do what he wants. So how dare you tell him what to do with his property? So then in turn, the black man is like, you know what? He right. She is his property. I can't tell him what to do. It is her fault. She shouldn't look like that. She shouldn't look at him. She should not be here. So instead of being more angry at the slave master, it's easier to be angry and let their frustration out on the woman who was there. Now, again, I'm making generalizations. This will not apply to everybody, every situation, but you should be able to follow along and kind of understand where I'm going and why things are why they are now with what I'm saying. So, again, because it's easier to blame who he can talk to, he can exert his power on, which will be his wife and his children, the black man's wife and his children during slavery. Sometimes it's what they end up doing. How dare you let yourself get raped by this man? Because it's easier in turn of And especially with men, y'all gotta realize men, even back then, didn't have the space to have emotions. And women, because we were enslaved, we definitely couldn't. So that's why I want black men to understand black women can't be emotionally vulnerable either. Okay. I must be talking that shit. But black women don't have the space to be emotionally vulnerable either. And it's the pathology from back then. Why would I allow myself to fall apart about the fact that I'm enslaved and I'm going through all this trauma when it's not gonna stop? I might well just learn how to suppress it. And that's what we did, and what we sometimes continue to do in the black community: suppression. Suppress a lot. Don't sweep it under the rug. No big deal. We'll get over it. No big deal. And because, like I said, they can't feel those things, the black men can't really fully feel those things, they have to, instead of internalizing the guilt of not being able to protect, even though it's not their fault, they still can't help but to feel guilty. Instead of internalizing it and trying to work through it, they project it onto us, onto black women. So now we are in 2024 and we have this separation of black men and black women, which began due to what the after effects of slavery placed on us. And if we were to go and entertain the whole fact of, oh, the welfare separated the black family, I think a lot of y'all don't understand what black women or black family was post-slavery. Post-slavery, black men could not find jobs. White people were gatekeeping jobs. They felt that black men couldn't work, but they made black women work. We were safer. We were the safer option. So they let us work. So now you got black women who are the matriarch, meaning that they take care of the household and the kids and the family. But those black men have yet again been stripped of the patriarch role. They still can't provide. Still really can't protect. But black women wanted them anyway. See how more things change, more they stay the same. And I'm telling y'all this again, as I study this stuff, I read. Yeah, I read. I'm not going off internet stuff. I'm going off stuff that I read years ago. I'm going off books that's still sitting on my bookshelf. People who actually did primary and secondary research on this stuff, who spent years deep diving this stuff. I'm going off of them, their research. There's still going to be room for error, but I feel like I'm right. It all makes sense, especially with my analytical and psychology mind, the training that I have putting these things together. So here we are now. Like I said, 2024, we have this separation between men and women, period. It's not just black people. The gender war has been probably since the dawn of time. But now in 2024, we are still glamorizing the struggle. Black men are still not opening up. And then also we got, another thing too about slavery is, I don't know if y'all ever heard of two things: buck breaking, and of course how they would pair slaves up together to breed. They made black men have sex with multiple. One black man might have sex with multiple slave women on the plantation and get them pregnant. That's still a pathology a lot of y'all have. That's where it came from. Y'all are breeders. And you don't have to be taught things verbally for it to still be instilled into you. It's behavior. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes the behavior comes before the thought. Because children mimic what they see. They don't do what they're told. They mimic what they see. So if you are a father, you got multiple baby mamas and a lot of children. If you have a son, one of your sons are probably gonna compete with you about that. And the way I could tell this in my family, I seen it. My daddy and one of my uncle's sons competing about how many children they can have with how many different women. And I'm not saying that that's the mindset that they have, but that's what it looks like from the outside looking in. Like, damn, your daddy had 10 children and now you got 7. Is you trying to catch up with them? You know what I'm saying? No disrespect to my family either. And God rest my brother's soul because he's not longer here. But yeah, I'm just being for real. I'm gonna be for real. I'm gonna even point to people that I love. Everybody is susceptible to what I'm saying. So again, like I said, we have this separation now. Now we're separated in mindset. And then you got Black women who are getting it. We're understanding, okay, I get it. I see why. We're doing the work. We're spiritually and emotionally and mentally and financially elevated. Some Black men are, but not enough. And you can see it statistically because, again, why are Black women outranking damn near everybody educationally? We're outranking everybody entrepreneurially. Why? The first self-made millionaire was a Black woman. Y'all following me? We been it. And we want Black men. But Black men blame us for things we have no control over because it's easier. It's easier because it's bros before hoes. That's a patriarchy too. I talked about it in one of my last couple videos. How dare they can't. They're gonna blame the white man for taking opportunities away from them, but they're not gonna blame them for the disconnect Black men and Black women have. They won't blame white people. They're gonna blame Black women. So I just feel like we gotta stop glamorizing struggle love. And I gotta say we, because I fell into it too. I'm still a human being. I can be conditioned just like the rest of y'all. Even though I have my own mind, it's still a mind. And your own mind, even when you have your own mind, it still has to go through stages of understanding, oh my God, I'm being programmed. So to dismantle the whole thought of we need struggle love, first of all, like I said, you have to have the awareness of where the mindset came from. Because we had no choice but to struggle back then to be together. No choice. We had no choice. Even if we married somebody and they on a plantation 10 miles away, we would have to sneak away and go see each other. It was a struggle. Everything about what we had was struggle. But we don't have to struggle anymore, y'all. Not like that. You can take all of that back. You don't have to do that anymore. Don't have to. If a man, woman, whoever is mistreating you, you don't have to take that anymore just because you think that that's the only thing you can get. Loyal to Black love. No. We don't have to struggle on the front end. We're not enslaved like that anymore, physically. But mentally, we have to do the work to get out of that. We are not each other's enemy. Black men, you are not my enemy. Even though you try to act like it. Yeah. But you're not. I don't look at you as my enemy. Even though I know I need protection from y'all, all men, really. But all types of men anyway, I should say. But you are not my enemy. I refuse to believe that. No matter how much you try to hate what I do as a Black woman, you hate that we wear weave, you hate that we wear makeup, you hate that we twerk, y'all hate everything about what we be doing. I'm not gonna let y'all be my enemy. I refuse because I want to fall in love with a Black man. I've been in love with Black men. I want to fall in love with more. At least one of them. So no, I'm not gonna let y'all be my enemy, but y'all gotta start looking at us like that too. We not y'all enemy. When we talk shit about y'all, it's not why y'all act like y'all above criticism? Especially from the women who y'all spend the most time with. Y'all are not, nobody's above criticism. And a black man said it really great. Actually, he was African. I don't know what country he was from, but he said black men make the most noise with the least production out of everybody, all groups of people. Male, female, y'all make the most noise with the least production. Y'all own the least, make the least. And it's time for y'all to really wake up, get out of the delusion, and we can't, even though I'm giving y'all a reason behind the pathology, I'm not blaming anything on anybody anymore at this point. We can't blame anybody anymore. We can't. I mean, we can, but it won't be a good enough excuse as to why you haven't made it. Not in 2024, not in 2025 or 2025. We cannot blame these people anymore. We can't blame them. We can't. It won't make sense anymore because it's a lot of black people who's making it. So now it's a cop-out to blame these people. We can understand the reasonings. We can understand the part that they played and why we don't have access to as many opportunities or as great opportunities, but we still have access to opportunities. And we can make our own opportunities. Like I said, we are free in that way. Now we have to take the mental constraints off. We're not each other's enemy. We don't have to agree on everything. First of all, a lot of stuff y'all disagree on is just about a matter of preferences in your relationship. You don't have to attack people who are not in your preference. If you a man that want to go 50-50 with a woman, that's fine. You just not my man. And I'm not your woman. And you can't try to change my mind. And I think that's what y'all doing. Everybody, male and female, y'all. Black men need to... No. Only thing I feel like black men need to do, they do need to have more mental, spiritual, and financial wellness. But if a black man does not want to provide certain things in his relationship, I'm not going to tell him he's wrong about that. He's just not my black man. He's just not the black man I want in my life that way. We could be friends. But don't try to change my mind either. Don't try to tell me I don't deserve. Yeah, because y'all do that. As black men, y'all always trying to tell black women what they fucking deserve. Yeah, I gotta drop a love bomb because that shit pisses me off. Don't tell me what the fuck I deserve, bitch. Just because you don't want to give it to me don't mean I don't deserve it. Just because I don't deserve it to you don't mean I don't deserve it. And who are you? Because if I tell you, hey, you don't deserve a woman to pay 50% of the bills if that's what you want. You don't deserve a wholesome woman. You don't deserve... You're going to get angry. Because who am I to tell you that? Nobody. I'm nobody to tell anybody what they deserve. At least not in a positive sense. Now, some of y'all deserve some negative stuff. I ain't going to go there, though. So, okay. We moving on. So let's move on to family love too. Because black love is not just romantic relationships. It's friendships and it's family. Black families. We gotta stop being crabs in the bucket. We gotta stop shooting down dreams. We have to stop keeping so many family secrets. That uncle, that cousin, shit, that auntie that y'all trying to protect, who do weird things to children, that shit got to stop. You can't call yourself no Christian if you're not willing to hold them accountability to the heinous actions that they do. I ain't saying you got to judge them, but hey, we still have a duty to tell people when they're doing shit wrong that we love, that we know. We have a duty to do that. We don't have a duty to tell people how to live, but we do have a duty to stop people from hurting other people and themselves, but especially other people. We do have a duty. We do. I'm not a Christian. I just think that that's just a moral law that we should have. And your children, oh, this one probably, if you watch this long, this one probably gonna get you. Stop whooping y'all kids, y'all. I can already hear it. I try not to say this, but again, I've been in the education field. I am a parent, and who used to whoop their child? I did. I mean, before I knew better. I was a child who got whooped. I didn't get a lot of whoopings. And I think that's part of why I'm so free. I didn't get a lot of whoopings. I did. In my mouth, sometimes I'm surprised I didn't, because my mouth is crazy. But I didn't get a lot of whoopings. I didn't. Thank God. But stop whooping y'all kids. And then complaining that they're aggressive. What are you teaching them when you hit them? That somebody who loves you will hit you? That you gotta hit other people to get them to act right or control them? That's what you're teaching them. Come on, why's not sticking? And the reason you don't know how to discipline them outside of physical abuse is because you're not a disciplined person yourself. You don't have a lot of self-control. I can say this as somebody who had to go through this realization myself. There are so many ways you can punish and discipline people that does not require physical action. Honestly, if y'all were really mentally sound, mental punishment and mental discipline is way rough than physical. And I've definitely given my daughter some mental discipline. And that's not saying mental abuse, because again, I hear these voices coming in. Hey, make a disclaimer, because somebody gotta be like, hey girl, you gotta make a disclaimer, because people like to take things and run, but they're not that bright sometimes. I'm not talking about mental abuse. I'm talking about mental discipline. What that looks like, making my daughter read, taking everything away in her room, making her do nothing but read a book and give me a book report. Mental discipline. Making her write 100 words from the dictionary that she just randomly picks out. Mental discipline. Making her read a holy text, the Quran, the Bible, Upanishad, and make a reference to what she's going through right now. Mental discipline and spiritual discipline too. Shit, mixed together. Physical. Now, if you're gonna use physical discipline, make them physically work out. Some of us be crying when we work out. You don't have to hit your child. I'm just making a point. You don't have to hit your child to punish them. And it's so simple too. I think that's another reason why y'all do it too, because it's easy. It's like, okay, let me just pop, and then move. Instead of taking the time to think, what do I need to do to teach my child a real lesson about this? Somebody gonna pick up what I'm putting down, but the rest of y'all gonna be like, I don't want to hear it because it makes you uncomfortable. I'm testing your limits, your mental, the slave mentality in you is dying when I say that, and you don't want to let it go. You don't want to let it go. But yeah, so in our friendships too, I don't have a lot to say about Black friendships because honestly, I don't have any negative things to say about that. I think friendships don't matter racially, so I'm gonna leave that out. But I'm just saying that Black love still encompasses Black friendships. And then also one last point about your children: please just take care of your children. Take care of your children, man. That whole mindset of when you hit 18, you gotta get out of my house. Only Black and brown people really think like that, and a lot of times brown people don't think like that as much as Black people. Why do we have to try to dismiss our children so quickly? 18 is still a baby to me. I didn't know shit at 18. I really didn't know shit till about 25, 26. If you want to talk, if you want to be real. But I'm in a space in my life where I can go, I can live with whomever I want to in my family if I need to. And I'm grateful about that too. The type of family I came in. You know, so we have to look at the family structure as well. And also, it's okay if you have a toxic family, you can cut them off. I want to add that too. Black people are and should be allowed to cut off toxic family members without hearing, oh, that's your family. Cut them off, sis, bro. If they are creating harm towards you, cut them off. Let them go. If they can't get it, they won't get it right, cut them off. Let them go. You don't have an obligation to sit and wait for them to get it right and harm yourself in the process. Leave them alone. Don't care who they are. Be your mama or your daddy. Just the most important people in your life. It can be both of them. Don't care. Cut them off. I give you the permission. I give you the space. And I give you the grace to do that without judgment and also with full love. Please cut them people off. Get them the fuck out your life. You don't deserve that. Okay, so that's black love. Let's talk about money. And this is going to be the last point. Black people and money. I made a video a few years ago about why black people don't like rich people or the thought of being rich. And I get that it's because, hey, rich people owned us. That's where the pathology came from. Rich people owned us. And then there's this thing too with not even just black people, but with the Christian community, where they believe that you have to, in order to get rich, you have to be a bad person, or you have to have sold your soul. It's people who really think that, and they call themselves Christians. But the Bible also told you that you're supposed to leave something for your children's children. My grandma did that. I'm sorry. I just thought about it. My grandma did. My grandma did it. Sorry. This is the brain just came. My brain just popped. They just popped in my mind. My grandma damn sure left something for us. You're supposed to leave something for your children. Black people. So don't come around here thinking that you are trading in your goodness or virtue, your Christianity, your salvation in order to be wealthy. That's a lie from the pits of it. It's a lie. Get rich. God wants you to be rich. God wants you to get rich. Shit, he know at least he want me to. They want me to get rich. No, y'all listening to. Cause I already know what I'm supposed to be doing. And getting successful as a black person, it's okay, y'all. You might have survivor's guilt. You might, because you're going to look around and you're going to be like, oh my God, all my friends, my family, they are still in this lower state or this lower level. How can I help them? How can I take them with me? They can't. Some of them can't come. Some of them can't get it. Won't. And you got to start making peace with that. And you can't always go back to those lower elevated spaces because Young Dolph, because Nipsey Hussle, because who's that other dude that got killed? Quite a few people try to leave the hood, come back to the hood, and the hood don't love them no more because you're different now. You have more than the people in the hood do. So the crab in the bucket. You ain't no way you getting out of here. You already left. Oh, okay. You go now. You really finna leave. I don't want you here on the earth at all because of what you got. Because for whatever reason, also black people have it. Well, it's not just black people, but we do have this mindset of if that person gets rich, no way I can, because they taking away the riches that I can get. That is not a real thing. It's not a real thing. Somebody else winning or getting success does not take away from your opportunities. It does not. And then the last point I'm going to make about this is just the mindset, again, like I said, y'all have about money. being stingy. You first of all, you cannot expect to get rich and then not want to spend money. Y'all be so stingy. Y'all always be stingy with y'all money when it comes to investing in things that could make you more money. But that phone though, that outfit though, them shoes, that you gonna buy that. Yeah, I'm broke, but I'm gonna look good by being broke. That's what y'all be thinking. Instead of, okay, you know what? For a year, I'm gonna buckle down. I'm not gonna buy a damn thing. I'm gonna keep all my clothes that I got. That's cool. But I'm not gonna buy nothing. Whatever left over that I save, I'm gonna invest it into this that I know is gonna make me money. 70 to 80% sure I'm gonna get a return on my investment. Y'all turn your nose up at all these different opportunities that can make you rich. Even when it is proven that people have gotten success off of it, you turn your nose at it, you invalidate it, you undermine it. And it's okay if things are not for you. But to have the mindset that just because something is not for you, that you gotta knock it, just shows that it seems like you don't believe that you can have it. You don't believe you deserve it. It doesn't do the thing what you think that it does. It doesn't deter other people. It just looks like you just don't have it in you. You ain't got it in you. You ain't got that dog in you. I'm just saying, you know. And last point, I just talked about this on TikTok. I don't know, that video probably going up. People want to argue with me about it. I'm done. I don't even want to go back on there because I'm like, y'all are the black people that I talk about. This whole situation of Eve sparked about this thing of being the only black person in the room, and I made a comment about that black people should be okay with being the only person in the room. And when I say okay, it's not okay that we are the only person in the room, but we should be okay with it. In this day and age, we should be okay with it. Meaning we should feel okay in those rooms. If these people are not physically threatening you or just threatening you in any kind of way, if they are not consistently being harmful towards you, I don't care if they make you feel uncomfortable with microaggressions, or if they make you feel uncomfortable because they stare, or they make you feel uncomfortable because energetically they don't want you to be that only black person in the room. They're trying to gatekeep. I do not care. Push through. Push through. Do it for your ancestors who could not be in those spaces. Think about these people. Think about the Ruby Bridges and the first black people who had to be the only black people in these rooms. Do y'all not understand that they still pushed through no matter how uncomfortable it was? And these people actually, their lives were really threatened and they still pushed through. Now y'all telling me it's 2024 and these people, yeah, they still can do things to you, but they have less power to do it without being checked. And y'all are afraid? I'm scared of these fucking white people. Excuse me to the ones who are not like that. But when I say it like that, you should know the ones I'm talking about. I'm not afraid of these people. I don't relate. Now I can get the whole feeling uncomfortable initially, but y'all are afraid. No, not Jasmine. We not doing that. That's what they want. That's the whole point. And y'all giving them what they want. You like, no, I'm not going back. I'm the only white, I'm the only black person in that room. I don't want to go back. I'm scared. I'm scared. They make me feel uncomfortable. It's weak sauce to me. You willing to give up your own opportunities? You willing to limit yourself because you are afraid being the only black person in the room? Do you really want to be successful? Because guess what? If you want to get to that elevated state, if you ever do want to be rich, who gonna be in the room? It ain't gonna be a lot of us. I don't know what reality y'all living in. That should not stop you from wanting to be successful. And then once you do get successful, like I said, keep your ass out the hood, but give back to the block if you want to. Give back. Make spaces where Black people can elevate and it be more of us in the room. Is that what y'all doing? No, that's not what the people are doing. They're just complaining that they are the only Black people in the room and they're not doing anything about it. Like, what y'all doing? Nothing. Anyway, I think I'm going to end on that note. No, I don't think I am. I feel like I touched on most of the things I wanted to touch on. Yeah. I think, well, I want to talk to Black women right quick. Black women is parents, is mothers. Your son is not your husband. He is not the man of the house. He is your son. Don't put that on him. This is why so many of them come out and they be so fucked up in relationships. They feel too much pressure. They become mama's boys and they can't properly have good connections with women because you, Black women, your daughters are not your competition. She don't want your man might want her. She don't need to get out the house early because, and this is all Black parents, but they don't need to get out the house early because your parents did it to you. Your child does not have to struggle just because you did. The whole point is each generation is supposed to get better, right? So that means that you should not put your children through the same thing or worse because it happened to you. That's ass backwards. Especially when you know you ain't like how I felt. But I think that's all. And Black men, please be in your children's lives. Y'all are so important. I'm not I keep telling y'all, I'm not on Black men's neck because I hate them. I'm on y'all neck because I love y'all and I think y'all are important, but y'all don't think y'all are important. That's why y'all stay away. Y'all don't take part in raising your children. That's why y'all don't take part in making meaningful relationships because y'all don't realize how important you are. And the world shouldn't have to tell you you're important for you to feel like you are important. Sign a Black woman. The world don't tell us we ain't fucking important. All the stuff we done fucking did and we don't get no credit for it. Black people, period, but Black women especially. We don't have to be told we important to know that we are. We have to just stand in it ourselves. And I need Black men to start doing that. Stand in it. Stand in it, Big Daddy. For real. But that's enough. I'm out of here. I got other things to do. Y'all have to rate them. Thank you if you watched this far. Check out all the links in my bio, in my description.